I'm pretty certain that by the summer we're going to be having fun. Or you guys should be having fun. I'm hoping to be having fun. All right. I heard now one thing that I found really interesting is that you love food. You're a foodie.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's everybody though. But I know I am definitely.
And you find in LA a great place to eat yet?
Um, uh, I eat Harold's, but that's really a Chicago restaurant. That's the only place that I like mainly go to. Harold's in Hollywood, but as far as like a new place to venture off to,
I'm gonna have my daughter Gabby. She lives in LA. She knows all the good restaurants. I'm gonna have her send you a list. All the
but
hot
no, I
spots.
definitely need.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I actually been looking into investing in and trying to put like a restaurant up in Cali that like a one that everybody familiar with, but just not in that area specifically. Like something that's popular in a place like down south, or like just a place that the California people aren't really privy to, you know.
We're gonna talk to you later about Bojangles. It's my favorite chicken restaurant. I own a bit of it, and we're trying to bring Bojangles in more parts of the country. Right now, it's big in North Carolina. It's like a religion in North Carolina, South
Yeah.
Carolina, Georgia. And so maybe you'll be the perfect to guy to help us build it out in California.
Oh no, for sure, I'm with it. I never ate Jangles yet. I can't recall the time that I ate it yet, but I heard that it's good.
Yeah, yeah, we'll send you some. No, you got to eat it there. It's good. It's all fresh. No, that's
For sure.
one of the fun parts about you starting to make some money and do with it. Like you start making some investments in things you like, then it becomes fun. You become a cheerleader for those things. Spokesman, even if it's not an official spokesman.
Recently, I recently just saw an interview with Rick Ross and him saying like how he started the whole chain of the wing stops, and it genuinely started just because his love for it, like the lemon pepper wings. So I can see where that'll be the better investment to invest in something that you actually like.
Yeah, Wingstop is crushing it too. Like their stock just keeps going higher. That company's worth like $4.5 billion for a freaking chicken wing company. It tells you if you get the product right and you get the business model right, that's how people get real rich. It's funny, like Puffy made more money on Ciroc than he did as a performer or as a producer on his vodka, and so using your celebrity, using your profile to get yourself into deals. Uh, so the more fame you build or more profile you build in your field, the more opportunities are going to show up in things that are tangential, as long as you keep a curiosity. Surround yourself with the right people. You never know. You might make more money as a chicken man than you did as a performer.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's
So
true. It's probably a
please,
lot. It's probably a lot less fun, but it's probably a lot easier.
yeah, I'm trying to make this money while I'm sleeping.
Yeah. Well, what else you want to talk about?
We touched on the crypto. We touched on real estate. I don't know. Just when it come down to investments, how do you know whether or not something is a good investment, and how do you know whether or not that it's gonna have a long run, that investment got longevity?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, if you try to put me out on stage to entertain people, I would do really poorly. you know, and so the first thing is you got to surround yourself with people that have a lot of knowledge, domain expertise in what they're doing. And so I said this a little bit earlier, but when you're thinking about investing, you got to talk to people that are really good investors. because they've done a lot of the homework. In the same way you've done a lot of homework in learning how to do your art and entertain. You grew up doing it, so it's in your DNA. You got to find the right investors, and you can find them. Like you're lucky enough, probably you can find them that'll be your team. Most people can find them on the internet. They can find them in their local community. But you got to surround. You got to find the smartest investor you can. You got to make your bet small enough that if it goes against you a little bit, you can still sleep. Right? One of the mistakes people make, they think I'm going to get rich quick, and so I'm going to put $10,000 into Dogecoin when they only have $11,000 in the bank, and then Dogecoin goes down and they start crying and they get nervous and so you're not going to get rich quick. It's very hard to get rich quick, and so if you make your bet size right, you got to know if you're investing something or if you're gambling. Like, listen, I like gambling, but you want to gamble with small amounts of your money for fun, and you want to invest with larger amounts of your money, to make money, not for fun. And so then you want to be in, like, if it's a stock, you should understand the product. Hey, if anyone could have invested in In-N-Out Burger, you go to In-N-Out Burger, there's a line around the block. They got that damn good hamburger. You knew that was going to be a success after you saw the third one. And so part of it is, don't just trust the story, understand the product, understand, is this thing growing? The single best way to think about investing in a person, in a product, in a business, is it growing at a quicker and quicker rate? If it's growing at an accelerating rate, their business, the amount of money they make, the amount of fans they're getting, you want to invest in that guy, right? And so when someone's famous but he's shrinking, you don't want to be invested in them, right? You want to invest in expansion and not invest in contraction. And so if you kind of think about that intuitively, that's why sometimes it's most fun as a young guy to find what are the new young hot restaurants, what are the new young hot designers, what are the new hot artists. And at one point we're going to have a system where we'll be able to bet on the young artists. Right now some producers will bet on you, and they'll take some percent of your career to help you drop your first album. But one of the things that crypto is going to do is it's going to allow the market, individual people, to bet on people, and you'll have your own token, and it won't be just a fan token that you're selling. It'll be some part of your production contract, and your fans will buy it. And when you're doing hot, the price of it will go up, and you'll sell some more of them. And so, it's one of the coolest things that's going to happen in the next 10 years with what we call blockchain. Blockchain is the database that cryptocurrencies are built on top of. It's going to go from Bitcoin and Ethereum and jokes like Doge to actually really real world stuff on how artists get paid, on how artists sell their stuff. We're invested in a business that's doing digital memorabilia or digital art. Right, so I was talking today to one of the most famous artists in America about creating digital art that he's going to sell. Now, up until a few years ago, you couldn't sell digital art because everyone's going to just copy and paste it. But now, because you can make it on the blockchain, it gives it scarcity value. It's like the difference between a real Chanel purse and a fake Chanel purse, right? You know it's the real thing because it's got a blockchain serial number on it, if you want to think about it. And so, again, something to think about as an artist is your image, right? Your songs and your image, how that will translate into this new world they're calling NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And so by the time you're 30, it's going to be a huge part of the world. And you're seeing people trade. It's like anything can have value these days if it's scarce. And so Michael Jordan rookie card is selling for $1 million because there are only 21 of them that are in good shape. And everyone wants them right now, right? If there were 500 of them, the price would be a lot lower. And so this thing called the blockchain allows digital stuff to not be counterfeited, right? To be unique. And so it's one of the coolest things coming. I would tell, if you had time, one of the things to study for you and your team, and actually, quite frankly, for your fans, is to understand this new thing, NFT. Like Bitcoin started 10 years ago and now it's everywhere. NFT started 10 minutes ago. You know, they started literally, you know, within the last 2 months it became popular. And so there, if you want to take a little bit of gamble, there's probably some real good, you know, good bets, but you got to really know who's hot, who's, you know, you really got to understand your culture at that point.
All right. So how many different forms of cryptocurrency are there?
There's probably more than 2,000, but there's probably only about 30 that really matter.
Right.
You know, and I'm probably invested in 15 of them. And so, you know, you got to be careful that there's this expression called shit coins. They're shit coins because they're shit coins. They're really, you know, they're scams sometimes. They're coins looking for an idea, not ideas looking for a coin. And so that's where you got to be careful. There's so many people. I mean, Floyd Mayweather had his own coin. It didn't do that well, right down the toilet. And I love Floyd Mayweather. But, you know, everyone was trying to cash in on the hype. And so, you know, for most people, investing in what we call the blue chips. Now, you know, I did one of these with Little Yachty a couple weeks ago, and I said, hey, I think DeFi's good, and I gave a few names. Those things have all more than doubled, tripled, some of them. And so sometimes even the blue chips can go crazy. Right now, it's harder to put your money in today than it was 3 weeks ago because it's been the most profitable 3 weeks in crypto. And you're like, okay, I'm not going to feel like the fool that now buys it. And so right now I'd say, yeah, buy a little bit of Bitcoin, maybe a little bit of Ethereum, and wait for things to calm down a little bit. Because we're at full hype master today, right? When the richest man in the world buys it, that's hype. And so down at one point, right? Investors, you know, just like humans, you know, you get all excited and then you get all depressed. Markets act the same way. And so, and you got to learn not to fall for when everything's all exciting. Take a deep breath, you know, chill out a little bit. And when things are scary is when you're supposed to be invested. You know, we used to say you got to put yourself in harm's way. You got to stand in front of the oncoming bull, you know, and not get scared. And that's when you make your most money. When everyone else is telling you to buy it, you got to say, whoa, 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 calm down. And so it's a hard psychology, but that's what you learn by doing it. That's why when you're young, you start off with a small amount of money and you're going to make lots of mistakes. It's okay. But hopefully you learn, you know, how to invest your money or who to trust.
Yeah.
All right. Really? I don't want to take all your time up. I really appreciate it. Hey, I say Joey Novograss, my nephew's on there. Shout out to Joey. He lives in Chicago.
Thanks for having me up on the show, the live. Thanks for having me on, though, and getting a lot of insight on a lot of stuff that I'm looking into investing in or just being a part of.
No, listen, I really appreciate it. I'm wildly impressed with what you've done, and just even how you comport yourself at a young age. And I love the fact that you bought your mom a house. You should be proud of that. I'm proud of you for it. And we'll stay in touch. I really appreciate it.
For sure.
All right. Be well.
All right.